Black Star Still Rising, sponsored by the Black Star Project and in tribute to Phillip Jackson, the founder of the Black Star Project, and always homage to Gloria Smith, the executive director of the Black Star Project, who keeps us going, who keeps this program, who gets things done on a daily basis and keeps the tradition of Phil going. I want to first, as I always do, give tribute to our studio producers, Imani Payne and Rocio Santos. Couldn't do it without her and both of them making us look good, making my guests look good. The guests look even better than me, of course. But and I couldn't have gotten it done without my associate producer, and that's Ellis Taylor and Dr. Mike Washington. Glad you're all here today, and we're here for a few reasons. One, I have a very special guest that I'm going to introduce in a minute, but also to let you know that you folks at the Atlas Center, at the Kroc Center, you seniors that are watching, you have some things to do, and I want you to get your pencil and paper out because you're going to need to take some notes. And I want you, first of all, to put down this word. How do you spell it? Triune, triune. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Triune.
Triune.
Yep.
We're going to
That's
talk
right.
about that a little bit more. You're going to get some more details. I want you to write that down. 2, know that you're here to listen, take notes, because it's going to be important. And as I say, viva voce. You've got to pass on this valuable information that my guest is going to share with you. I'm going to give you a little brief introduction about him because he's got some things that he can claim to fame. First of all, he's the grandnephew of Black Star's founder, Phillip Jackson, the grandnephew.
Yes.
All right, my brother.
Yes.
He's also the great-grandnephew of Dr. Vincent Harding, an inspiration, the two people that are inspirations for the Black Star Project that keep the tradition going. And Shawn will be doing a great show today to talk about a few things that you must be aware of and that you must be able to pass on. Like I said, viva voce. This is important to you, important to us. Shawn is a graduate and attorney. I'm sorry, you're attorney, Shawn Daniel. And he got everything, honestly, tradition. You got his background. Shawn, tell us a little bit. You have some exciting things. I don't know if you can tell all because some of the times in the military you spent in Iran or Iraq.
Yeah, so
Can you talk about that?
Absolutely.
Just quick. Yeah.
Following my time in high school and pre-college, I wanted to serve our country because of September 11th, and I joined the Army, serving in Operation Iraqi Freedom 3, defending our country. So I'm an Army military war veteran, and thank you, sir. And as you said, I have some really big shoes to fill because I have great uncles and great uncles that have done and moved our community forward in ways that I'm just here to help and continue to do.
You continue to do it, and it's probably very obvious. Shawn is an activist. It's in his DNA. He and his lovely wife who are here today. Trevette is in the other room. She'll be on another broadcast because they're in partnership. They're a great couple that does things together, and you'll hear more about what they do and what they discovered. She's a physician. He's an attorney, and she's going to be a physician. He's an attorney. What a combination these two black couples, this black couple is doing. I'm so proud of them, and the families are proud of them too, and what you're doing and continue to do. One of the things that certainly we're going to talk about is the program. No, not so much the program. What inspired you to start the program? What was the trigger that started you to do the program you two talked about and said, we've got to do this.
Yeah.
We've got to do this.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the thing and about there's a couple of stories that you're going to have to tell. One about your grandmother.
Okay.
And,
All right.
And one about Miss Bland, Sandra Bland.
Yes.
I want you to tell that story too as it relates to Triumph. Come on, tell us.
Absolutely. So, my 7-year-old grandmother on a Friday afternoon calls me, and I hear her voice, and I'll tell you, she sounded horrible. I'd never heard my grandmother. She's normally upbeat and pompous, And
don't say Papa.
in this,
Shoot you.
in this particular,
She's adorable.
Yes, absolutely. But I couldn't get past just the crackling in her voice, and I'd never heard it before.
Yes.
And so I asked her, I said, "Grandmother, what's wrong?" And what she said to me next brought about fear. I was scared. I was confused. And she said, "Well, I've been in the hospital since Sunday."
And what day was this?
This was Friday afternoon.
She's been in the hospital, and this is part of the story. This is a grand story, but go ahead.
Yeah, I had this thought in my mind, a thousand thoughts racing through my mind, thinking, is she on her deathbed? Is she really sick? And also thinking, man, how can I just be finding out that my grandmother had emergency surgery? She's been in the hospital and no one is called, and I wasn't aware. So I drove the many hours to the town to see her. I got to the hospital. It was after visiting hours, and unfortunately, they wouldn't give me any information. There was
nothing on file and information. They just weren't available.
They wouldn't even tell me she was a patient there.
Okay.
I had no HIPAA information, and they essentially turned me away.
Talk quickly about HIPAA and what the implications are for HIPAA. What information can be given up?
Absolutely. So with a HIPAA consent form, it is a federal statute that protects patients' information. So that means if you are a patient with a doctor or any sort of medical facility, they will not disclose or not share any information if that patient of theirs has not given consent. So in my case, my grandmother called me, and but for her calling me, I would have had no idea that she was in the hospital.
Did anyone else in the family know?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
But in many regards, through miscommunication, nothing was conveyed to me. I travel a lot. I'm always on the move. And in that instance, I couldn't get out of my mind that, man, I could have lost my grandmother. There could have been a time where I never was able to say goodbye. And from that moment, I stayed up all night. I could not sleep that night. And I kept thinking to myself, what if there was an app that anytime my grandmother went to the hospital, it would send me an alert and then begin to tell me that she's at the hospital? And I'll tell you, now I actually have that capability.
We're going to talk about that some in depth. But one of the things, too, in your military background, one of the things I think I remember about the military, and I did more National Guard and riot duty than I did anything else. And I'm sure when you were in Iran or Iraq, the motto was no one left behind.
That's right.
What applies to us? If we apply that to our viewing audience, we want them to know that you will not be left in the dark.
That's right.
You cannot be left in the dark, and that's why Shawn is here today, and we want to share with you.
That's right.
So you got to pass this information on. Go ahead, Shawn.
You know, I'll tell you about being, no one left behind. In my research over the past several years, I've come to know that one of the worst things about losing someone is not having the ability to say goodbye. And when I've shared and I've had this conversation with my grandmother and I've asked her her point of view, she's told me how scared she was being in the hospital alone. And we want to make sure that we're leveraging technology that we currently have at our fingertips to be there when our family members need us the most. So I'm really happy and proud that my grandmother now has a way where if she does find herself in need again, I can be there. And yeah, I won't call her pompous anymore.
You'll be in big trouble. One of the things that stood out when we were preparing for the show, you told me hundreds die in hospitals without family knowing that they're in the hospital. And that was you.
That's right.
That was you that could have been in that situation.
Yeah, I was grateful that, this particular time, she was 70 during that particular time. She's 73 now. Okay. And so when I talk to my family, I talk with my grandmother, she's getting to an age now where it's not a matter of if she's going to go to the hospital, but when. And now we can say very confidently, and I can sleep well at night, knowing that when she goes to the hospital, myself and all the other contacts she has in there will also be aware of that.
Well, tell me how an attorney and a wife who was a physician can come up with an application that fills a void. How did that come about, and what's your background to allow you to do that? Because somebody else might want to make some applications.
Yeah,
But go ahead.
Curiosity. I would explain it. Being curious is how we arrived to where we are. My wife, she's grew up and raised in East St. Louis, and
Okay.
I'm from Chicago.
You're a Chicago boy, and she's East St. Louis.
Inglewood.
Yeah.
So we've lived our lives in a way of being creative, of innovating our way through whatever challenges we have, and so
And your concerns for the community. Both of you have been community activists.
That's right.
Since knee high to a duck almost.
That's right.
And you had it in your DNA. But go ahead and talk about that.
So in terms of, like you alluded to it before, I have some giants in my family,
Okay.
right? We got Phillip, who has spearheaded the Black Star Project.
Okay.
That involvement of improving academia and economic for Black and Latino communities.
Educate or die.
For me, that set the standard.
Yeah.
And so for us, we're looking to continue to take steps in that direction. And this one is around safety. I say to myself, if we are to see Martin Luther King's dream live and come alive, it starts with safety. And safety says to us, if someone is in need, if they are, whether you are Sandra Bland or you find yourself in a Ahmaud Arbery situation, one of the things that we want to make sure we ensure is that your loved ones know that you're in need. So at the push of a button, we want to make sure that they can inform people that, hey, I have a need.
I want to stop you there, not stop you, but I want you to get into that Sandra Bland information and how that would have applied if she had the application that you have invented. And okay, give us a little bit of what somebody in that position will do.
Absolutely. So Sandra Bland is that case is very is etched into my mind, and a lot of people know that Sandra Bland was pulled over for a traffic stop, but later found dead in unalived in her prison cell.
And she was coming from Prairie View, had just had a job interview, had just gotten accepted, and she got stopped by the policeman in Texas, outside of Houston, I think it was. But go ahead.
So Sandra, yes, so this took place in Texas, but recognize that she's very close to us because she's from Illinois, right? And in that traffic stop, what people may not know is that 3 days had passed before her family or friends even knew that she was unalived in a jail cell. And so where Triune comes in is that we want to revolutionize what a traffic stop looks like. We want to revolutionize what it looks like to have an unsafe encounter of any sorts, and give people at the push of a button an opportunity to immediately contact their loved ones, send their location, even if it's just to say, hey, I just got stopped, or someone's following me, check up on me to make sure I'm good in the next hour.
That's why Shawn is here, and he's on this edition of Breaking On Down. He's breaking down some real scenarios and come up with answers for the problems that affect Black, Brown, Latinx communities and the communities that you've been working with over the years. So tell us more about how that happens, and what does the device do, and how do you work it?
Absolutely.
Give us just a little, break it on down.
Absolutely. So with the medical alert in my grandmother's case, anytime, now that she has the app, anytime she's at a hospital, after 90 minutes, the app will automatically notify myself and any other emergency contacts. It's going to send the hospital's phone number.
This is kind of a default. You don't have to be proactive about it. And that's critical, isn't it?
It is.
Especially for your grandmother in the 70s and may not be that astute in technology and computer and phone technology.
Yes. We wanted to make sure that once you set it, you can forget it. So as she goes into her, whether it's a checkup or she's going by way of ambulance and she may be unconscious, we wanted to make sure that when life gets busy for everyone else, we are alerted. We know that she needs us there, and she does not have to push a button. She doesn't need to call. She can focus on her health. we will focus on getting that to support her.
Is that a GPS located or involved or a part of the system?
It's proprietary.
Oh, excuse me. Set me straight.
We do operate.
You can tell me later on.
Yeah. We'll give you some rundown.
Not on the TV, right? Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, so we're very proud about being able to introduce the from a health perspective. As my wife finishes her medical degree and becomes a physician, I'm proud of the work that she's doing. As a lawyer, one of the parts that I'm most interested in is not only equipping our community with the way they can send an alert immediately when they have an emergency. But the second part in there's a second button that we've introduced, and that's geared to solve the problem of access to lawyers and access to attorneys. Because when you think about it, you may
not want to think about it, but go ahead, tell me what it is. I know what you're going to say. I don't want to think about it, but I need to think about it.
In the event that anyone has had from a fender bender or a car accident, or there may be a slip and fall, or worse, something that's involving another part of the law, one of the first questions of getting the professional help you need is, in fact, asking an attorney.
Okay.
So we have a button in there that says Ask an Attorney, where anyone in the community is now going to have direct access to attorneys in our database to say, hey, here's a situation. We'll de-identify the information for confidential reasons.
Okay.
And then we're going to allow an attorney to say, yeah, I think you might have something we want to go after.
When you say de-identify the situation, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so that's a great question about de-identifying. So because we are introducing technology in a way that's going to help move the community forward, we've been good stewards about making sure we do data privacy. So
data privacy is what?
And data privacy is about, it's your data. It's your location, it's your information, it's your phone number. And if you've entrusted us with that information, we want to be good stewards to make sure that no one else gets that information.
Except who you want.
Except for who you want to. Exactly.
Whether it's family or doctor or whatever, yeah.
Exactly. Okay. And so for data privacy, we make sure that anytime we check that location of an individual, if it comes back and says you're not in a hospital, we delete it. We have no use for the data.
Okay.
So that's a way of making sure that information that we might have of you is being delivered where it needs to go. And if it's not needed, we delete it.
Now, what's I won't say selling points, but the benefits? If you're talking to a caregiver, for instance, and they say, well, I think my mom or my dad or grandpa or grandma need something like that. What do you tell them? How to go about doing that? How do they, and if you got some phone numbers or websites to gather more information, please tell us about those.
Absolutely. So the app is available in both Google and Apple Play Store. Download it for free.
Oh, that's a good word, the F word. I just heard that on commercials. The F word, all right, it's free.
It's a different four-letter F word. But yes, that's the better four-letter F word. You can go to triunealert.com. So that's TRIUNE alert.com. And we'll have all the information there for downloading, QR codes if you want to scan that as well. And if you want some more information, give us a call, 773-217.
Wait a minute, they haven't got the pencil.
They got the pen and pencil ready?
You got it out there? Folks at Atlas, at Croc, down at Black Star, get this address.
Because I want to hear from you.
That's right.
So 773-217-0204.
We're going to have you to repeat that again because folks don't write as fast. There are not a lot of stenographers out there. So we have to give them some time. They got 7 digits in, but they didn't get all the digits.
Oh, the 7. So 773.
Oh, got it?
217. 0204.
Now, who should they ask for? Should they ask for you?
They should ask for me.
Oh, they go straight to the CEO.
We have a team of 15 people.
Wait a minute, you're not short-stopping. You got a team of 15 people?
This is serious business.
Oh, no, I believe that. No.
I'll tell you that we have every colleague, every friend, every other attorney, the other physicians that we've talked to, and we've talked to them about how we want to move forward. Everyone we reach out to, all 15, has immediately said yes. count me in. So we have a director of operations. We have a customer care team that may answer the phone before I get it, but ask for me and I'll be there.
Now, what part is your wife doing in this now, with her being in medical school, etc.? She's just giving you good advice, or she handles the money?
Yes to both of them.
Smart man, you know what to do. Your family be proud of you. And what do they speak so highly of you?
Listen, my wife she's phenomenal.
She's
phenomenal.
Oh yeah, sweet too.
And yes, I'm doing as a lawyer. She is, I tell everybody the truth, she's the brains of the family.
Okay.
So many more publications than what I do, and so her role is about strategy. She's our chief strategy officer. Making sure that we're grounded in our principles, everything from social media to our websites to our customer and client engagement. She makes sure that our strategy is geared towards safety for the community.
So your pillow talk is different from anybody else. You're talking business. You're talking real business when you put your head down on those pillows next to each other, right?
Well, I guess it depends on the time.
Okay.
Right?
No, don't go any further. You're talking business on the pillow talk.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, that's what you're supposed to do. Take advantage of that time together. Because that's money making there. Got to be in business. What's been the most exciting part of you starting this? And what was the hardest part starting it? And finding somebody to have to write the application? Or were you able to, is that the proprietary?
Yeah, I'll tell you the most enjoyable piece that I've had and the team has had with moving this forward has been hearing the stories of others and how they say they've gone through the same thing. And how they say, man, I can't wait for you to develop this. For years now, since 2019, when it was founded, we've been developing
2019, that long? Okay.
2019.
You've been doing it.
We've been working.
Yes.
But it was working during the day and law school in the evening, so we had to...
That's what alpha men do. Do we do it?
That's right.
Man, this is my alpha, brother. Okay? I can't help it. First of all, service of all. We shall transcend all.
That's right.
Okay, that's what we do.
That's right. Yeah. And I say the most challenging piece for me has been to see more examples as to where I wish people had the Triune app.
Okay.
Most recently, we've heard about a young man out on the East Coast who's from Illinois as well that was found hanging from a tree, lynched as some people would call it. I can't help but to think I wish he would have had the ability to alert his friends and family. Yeah.
Wow, that is a tremendous. I think some of these should be the podcast or some videos. I think it's powerful stories that you could tell. And can I invest in your company?
Well, we are privately owned, so we're not publicly owned company, so no investments, but the time, investment with time and advisement. Okay. So
I'd want to do that. I want to support you, and I want all you folks looking today, you better be writing that down. I'm going to give you a little bit more information too. This is a station break, you might say, talking about Black Star Project and the things that are happening down the Black Star Project. Now, your pencil and paper, you too. Yeah, go ahead. Take this phone number down, first of all, 773-285-9600. That's the number down at the Black Star Project. Now, you're going to either talk about the Young Black Men of Honor program that's going on. You're going to talk about the Phillip Jackson Freedom School. You're going to talk about the Kimberly Lightfoot Saturday University. There are people there who will give you information that you can pass on. Viva voce again. Pass this valuable information down to neighbors, friends, nieces, nephews, etc. You be the family activist in passing information down. Tell us some more.
So the one thing I'd encourage each of you to do is take a look at all the services because in order to deliver a safer community, and you have to think about my grandmother, she's 73, and if you consider some of the things we see in our community is some people may not have wills. So another passionate area of mine that's going to be
probate
offer. That's right.
Probate services.
So we do probate services. Just making sure that and these are free. This is free assessment of one's will to ensure that when a loved one is transitioning over, that they've been able to allocate and say where they want their possessions to go in a lawful way.
So you're not here to make money. You're here to serve the community as you've been doing as an activist over the years, and coming from a family of activists who are not in it for the profit structure. It'd be nice if you get a little salary, etc. But you're here to inform the communities that you grew up with. You got a satellite down in East St. Louis too?
Not yet.
But I know it's got to happen.
She's gonna put in the strategy, I'm sure.
She's gonna be talking to you tonight when that pillow goes down. You two gonna be talking about it. You didn't do nothing to East St. Louis yet? What's wrong with you, brother?
Part 2, start small and pilot and kind of scale it up, right?
Okay, how many hours do you have? 4 hours down to East St. Louis?
It's about 4.5. We get down there to see some family but I'll tell you that whether you're in Chicago or you are in East St. Louis or one of the other cities, we are looking at it from a global and a nation perspective, right? We want to make sure that anyone, no matter where you are, that you have a way to connect back to your family. Like that, for me, is very serious. I want to make sure that I press upon everybody that staying connected and staying protected is the way to go.
I'm going to be one of you. After this broadcast, I'm going to get my free. Yes. I'm going to get my free when I make my daughter, my son, whoever. Yeah. Make them expect that call. If you get that call or that alert, Daddy's in the hospital or whatever. All right. So I'm going to follow up on mine too. You folks who heard the information, you've got, repeat it once more, Shawn. So the numbers to call or the numbers to get on the internet or whatever.
Yeah. So www.triunealert.com.
Spell that.
That's TRIUNE alert.com. Or you can call us at 773-217-0204.
People vote, you're going to be passing this information on. I'm expecting the folks down at Black Star. I'm expecting that Harris family group that was together back in the summer, they're going to be passing the word around.
Yes.
You're going to get some new stuff. Send something down to Chip in Peoria, because he's got a little TV. Maybe we can send it down.
Okay.
Maybe we can go down there.
I would love to.
Let's talk to Chip about that.
Okay.
And see.
You driving?
I can drive.
Okay. We can drive. Okay.
No, nobody took my keys yet, right? I'm still all right. I can get down to Peoria. That's not a big thing. Okay. The next time, you've got so much more information and stories to tell. I'm looking forward to having you back and your wife back for the next. She'll sit at this chair the next time you sit out in the other green room to watch this going on. But I'm so happy, so pleased, so happy that I had this opportunity to have you show and talk about your story. Thank you, folks, for coming out today.
Thank you.